Hello Gunners, welcome to another video, and some very interesting things have come out from reputable journalist David Ornstein regarding Arteta and regarding just everything with the club right now and in the past. So we're going to look at that, see why the pressure is building on Arteta. But before I begin, if you are new here, please can you hit the subscribe button, and hitting the like button is greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's begin. And this first clip, I'm going to apply some context. This was after we lost to Bayern Munich and way before, Edu left the club. So I just want you to have a listen and we'll discuss it afterwards.
I remember perceived mistakes. It's easy for us to say, but things you could scrutinise when Arsenal went out of the Europa League to Unai Emery's Villarreal under Mikel Arteta. And I saw little things that were not too dissimilar this time round. And that will take a strong staff around him who are prepared to challenge him. He's actually got quite a young staff, although Albert Stovenberg is a bit older, but many of the members of that coaching team are young themselves. And so it will take Edu as sporting director, Richard Garlick as managing director. He's replacing Vinay Venkatesham essentially as chief executive. The Cronkies as owners, to make sure they support and challenge Mikel Arteta. And he will do that more than anybody. The introspection's really important. But as he's grown in power at that club, it's not easy to question him internally. And so
Very interesting. Bearing in mind, again, this was after we just lost to Bayern Munich ages and ages ago. Edu talked about not being happy with his role within the club. Arteta, we know he's a fantastic manager. I absolutely love him. There is no questioning that at all. And this video isn't even to talk about Arteta ever leaving the club, but it's just quite interesting to hear this sort of thing. Arteta himself is very young. It's true, he has a young staff around him, and I feel like we need somebody to challenge him. And there was also other videos coming out of Ornstein about the hierarchy not completely satisfied with the signings of Marino and Calafiori. All of those were spearheaded by Arteta. So maybe there's this sort of thing within Arsenal right now that Arteta has far too much power to make decisions that maybe should be beyond him at this age, at this point in his managerial career. And this is why there's been crazy talk about Arsene Wenger even coming in as the DOF, or somebody with the experience and the ability to question Arteta, because ultimately you're not going to grow as a club if somebody's able to make decisions willy-nilly whenever they want. And I'm sure Arteta recognizes that. He just needs to be able to respect whoever it is that comes in as the DOF or whoever comes in the club hierarchy to challenge him. But it is hard to actually challenge Arteta because he's got so much right in the past. You look at the signings he's made that have absolutely gone and done a fantastic job. The Ben Whites, all of these signings, the Gabriels have done fantastically well for us. So as somebody within the club, if you're going to try and challenge Arteta, there isn't a massive pool of data to really say, Arteta, you're wrong. You're not doing the right thing. You should have listened to us, because pretty much he's got everything bang on. He's single-handedly, with the help of Edu, of course, rebuilt Arsenal. I think the only thing was the Ødegaard and Maddison situation. Arteta wanted Maddison. Edu was so hell-bent on Ødegaard. So maybe that's the leeway to say to Arteta, let's be open-minded to the ideas we have. I'm sure Arteta doesn't completely ignore them, but there's got to be this self sort of belief that I'm going to be right. I am right. I've been right in the past, and that's okay. We're all humans. We all believe once we've made good decisions in the past, why do we have to listen to other people? Because it's obvious he has the ability to make great decisions. But this was just interesting to have a listen to. Let me know down below your thoughts. We're going to go on to the second video next. But this idea that Arteta has a lot of power with the young staff around him and it's hard to challenge him, and Edu leaving not too long after this happened could be a sign of that power being, getting to a really unhealthy stage with Mikel Arteta. This is now the second video just after the game against Inter Milan. It's interesting. Just see and listen in, as clear a way as possible at what David Ornstein is saying.
I think this does, whether we like it or not, certainly in the public eye, put increasing emphasis on Mikel Arteta. And he's just signed a new contract. He's committed his future to Arsenal. And really now it's time to deliver. He's got everything you would imagine in terms of they've recruited heavily. You can scrutinise that. But he's been there for a fair amount of time. It's his squad. It's his club. People talk about it being, Arteta FC. And I don't think they mean that in a derogatory way. But, this is really on him. And so let's see how he reacts to that in the post-Edu world. Let's see how he assimilates with a future plan, whether somebody else comes in and works alongside him.
And there we have it. Very interesting. I think in all my time as being an Arsenal fan, it's been hard to find ways where, or places where David Ornstein has spoken this way about Mikel Arteta. You know, this idea that the pressure is on. Just see the way he speaks. You know, it's time to deliver. He has his players, he has his squad, he has everything around him, which has propelled him into a position where we've got to go for the big titles. We've got to win the big games, you know. He's committed his future to us, but there was this emphasis that, you know, it doesn't exactly mean Arsenal can commit their future forever to Mikel Arteta. It's not like he's unsackable. He isn't untouchable. There is this, you know, thing within Arsenal, the Cronkies. They recognise, you know, he's had all the things he's needed, all the resources, all the money. You need to perform now. We need a return on our investment. We need a return, you know, performance-wise, trophy-wise, all of these things, because otherwise, you know, what's the point really? You know, we know how good Arteta is. We've seen how he's built us, but this is a results business. This is Arsenal are a business as a football club. They need results. They need to be winning big things, because that's what keeps the club running, you know. And if Arteta isn't doing that, then that's a massive problem. So it seems as though the pressure is on Arteta. This has happened before. I have full faith that Mikel Arteta is going to turn this around, get us playing some fantastic football, and get us back to the top of the Premier League.